everyone for today's 60-minute session. I have the pleasure, we have the pleasure to host the last 60-minute session before the summer vacation. And this time we are going to have an expert here that we have seen before already. He's kind of one of our frequent guest, if you can say it in that way, right? So today the session will be hosted by the expert Andrea Griesinger, and we will talk about exploring Agile Coaching, which is one of our topics dear to net4tec's heart, because we are also facilitating a training together with Andrea on this topic. And this training is going to start in October, the beginning of October. It's going to be an 8-week training, and we will hear more about it later as well. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I would say let's enjoy the session, and let's hear what we can do in order to transform organizations in an agile way, and what does agile actually mean, and how can some coaching influence help in there. So this session is going to be recorded, so that all our pioneers can watch the recording in the knowledge library that we have. And enjoy. Andrea's going to do it very interactive, I'm sure about that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Andrea. And thank you for being here today.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction, Julia. And I'll quickly jump into like the short overview of the next 60 minutes. We are just in the middle of welcome and check-in, so be prepared to have an interactive check-in. I'll give you a short introduction about the Agile Coaching topic and an overview, especially with regard to the virtual training session that net4tec is offering, to give you some glimpses on the content, what we are going to do during that training and what might be the topics. And then I'm quite open for any question or learning or experience from whoever is and will be in the call. And we'll finish with a short preview, which is the overview about when you're really interested in joining the training, which I hope will be the effect after that session, so that you know where to apply and when it will start. And then I'll hand over to Julia for the goodbyes. This will be the overview. To have a check-in, which is only interactive for those being live in the call, I just quickly would like to ask you 3 questions. Who are you? Just put it in the chat. Add a little emoji. How are you? Just to give each other an overview about your personal state of mind in this 60-minute session. And maybe if you have like your personal hashtag, anything that's special for you, maybe something that has to do with Agile or with organizations or with coaching or none of those, but anything else, just feel free to add anything that might explain who you are, how you are, and what's your topic. And I'll just go. So Julia is okay. Oh, that looks very happy. Vacation starting on Saturday. Your hashtag very, very good.
And I'm also a fan of exploring Agile Coaching.
Yeah, you definitely have to be. Anything else would be very disappointing because you were already a participant of the training that you already had. Okay. Well, my input is very easy. I'm your coach today during that session, and I'm excited overall, but also on anything about transformation, and the link to the Agile Coaching I'll provide you afterwards. And that fits very well to Christine. She looks happy. if I'm taking that correctly. And then change and transformation fits, I think. So you're quite on the right spot here. So
I just wanted to add voice, because I don't know why, but I don't have the messenger on view now. But I'm happy to be here, and for sure, Agile Coaching is really related to my core business, which is also supporting companies through their way of reinventing and redesigning their organization for more diversity and inclusion. So I'm very happy to learn more about that. Andrea.
Okay, so it's excited as well. And then Richard, I'm not sure whether you are able to use the chat or if you want to, but if you want, please feel free to add to the chat if you like. If not, you're also invited to be the quiet listener, which is okay as well. On leave, explore Agile as it has been included in job descriptions. Okay. Yeah. So you're right in this session. Thank you for the contribution. And I think we'll just move on. Thank you very much for your check-in. And I'll continue sharing. Just to give you an overview about who I am. Although Julia said I've been a frequent guest here, I found something new that nobody of you has seen so far. I digged through old pictures. And as you can see, the left one is exactly more or less 20 years old, and this is me last year. And the reason why I put those pictures is what happened in between. So for the last 20 years, I focused on different topics, which is well, more or less the cloud that you find on the slide, but with a very strong focus on an agile mindset, on the topic of leadership, and the topic of transformation, which for me very much fits in together. And from my history, and that's the left photo that was taken in the manufacturing company and industry I was working at the beginning of my working career. And then through personal transformation and learning and gathering experience, I did a lot of projects. I worked in digitization projects, and I experienced agile as well as waterfall approaches, and was working a lot on transformation and change. And I'm now in the coaching and leadership and consulting business, focusing on exactly these topics. So as you can see, same is the hair color, but different for the experience. And I'm really curious about the next topics to come. And I'm looking forward to sharing what I experienced so far. The company I'm working with is called Upgrade Partner. You'll find it in the internet, and that is the consulting company is focusing on strategy, transformation, change, new work, and next level leadership, business coaching, as well as specific learning solutions, where Agile Coaching is one of them. So just to give you a very quick overview and spotlight where I'm from, and what's the experience I bring with me today and to the training. So we would quickly jump into the topic of Agile Coaching. And I would like to start as well with two very easy questions. And I would like you to use, if possible, your smartphones, and just use the QR code, just do a little brainstorming. What do you spontaneously associate with the term agile? And then the second question would be, what do you spontaneously associate with the term coaching? I'll just leave you some minutes to think. There is no wrong about those questions, but a lot of rights. So we'll just see what's your perception of those two terms that come across in this training session. I'll just share the outcome as well. So let me just present. You should be able to see my screen. No.
Yeah, but right. I don't have the QR code.
You don't? I stole the QR code. I'm sorry.
Is that the same for both questions?
No, it's a different one, but let me just post the QR code in the chat. It might make it easier for you. Just a second. Just 1 second. So the first QR code is this one. That's the first one. Oh, well, the link, the direct link. And the second one is coming in a second. There we go. There is the second one. Does that work for you, Christine?
Wait a second. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So let's see. Okay, we can already look at the first ideas you have. Well, Agile associated as a way of working, coming together with collaboration, so means of collaboration. It is perceived as innovative, so innovation comes very much across the term Agile. It has something to do with change. I very much like that the word mindset was mentioned. Adaptability, the capability of adapting fast, and flexibility. Fast, quick iterations also was mentioned. So fast, quick, flexible, adaptable, a change, innovative, and it has something to do with mindset. Okay. So thank you very much on those thoughts, and I think it all very much fits into what is associated generally with Agile. So now we come to the coaching part of the term. If you talk about Agile coaching, if this is Agile, so what is coaching then? Let's just look on your thoughts here. Okay, so your associations: coaching, leading to a goal. Okay, curiosity, reflection, which for me is sounds very nice, because curiosity for me goes to the future and reflection goes to the past. So that makes a stream. Growth, so becoming bigger or wider or broader. Coming out of this comfort zone, or helping somebody get out of the comfort zone, I'd like to add. And growth mindset. So you have the link with the term of mindset already between the Agile term and the term of coaching. And then the assisting people to help themselves, which is the systemic approach to coaching. Yeah. And then yeah, I like the learning part as well. And I can tell you, if you take the learning part from your association from coaching and the iterations and adaptability that you were connecting to the Agile part, there you already see these are two topics that somehow at least seem to have a common ground as well. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that. And I just got lost with my PowerPoint, so just give me a second to find back. Yeah, on the PowerPoint side of the presentation. There we go. So based on the topic of Agile coaching, when we first well, let's say invented and talked about the training session, and Begonia and Julia said, oh, this might be an interesting topic for the entrepreneur as well, because we perceive this is an interesting role that is being developed in organizations. How can we develop an interesting training program that might be attractive for our net4tec members? And the way of the how the training is is done or designed, is that we are always at one time looking on the skill side. On the one hand, we will be talking about what are capabilities, what are competencies that need to be developed to become or to have an idea about the role of the Agile coach. And then we will be at the same time looking at the tools to make it possible on how to work with the specific contents and how to really find and set the levers for any transformation going together with Agile working and mindset. And then talking about mindset, the basis of doing the things differently is the Agile mindset. And we will be talking about that and experiencing the shift of mindset and the growth of ideas that might arise around those discussions as well. So you see the three aspects of learning that we will come across during that training. So in the following, what I would like to do is just lead you through the modules, and the modules are done based on, leading questions. The first leading question would be, where does that Agile topic come from? What does that, where do I find that in my organization? Why do I have to, what's the reason why anyway? Why would I need to think about Agile at all? Where do I find that? What are people, what do I hear? Where are misconceptions maybe? There are, when I ask about those associations, as I did with you, sometimes there are very funny ideas about what Agile might be. And there is a lot done within organizations that's called Agile, but bottom line is just called Agile, but it doesn't have to do anything with the underlying mindset. So we are doing the introductions, and to give you an overview about the training, what we are going to do, we will be discussing the role and the capabilities that an Agile coach has to fulfill based on what is Agile anyhow? Where does that come from? Starting with a little piece of history, coming from IT complex projects, coming from production and the lean principles, discussing with you where you already find those principles in your day-to-day work, and then discussing what are the capabilities if you look at the specific role of the Agile coach, which is one of the typical roles within an Agile environment, and then seeing what does that person with the head of the Agile coach need to know, and what are the specifics of the round of participants, because the beauty of the net4tec training program is that the participants come from different organizations, or some of them are self-employed, so the know-how they bring within the training session might be very different, and that is just what happens within organizations as well. So what we will be doing is to have a little self-check, okay, which parts of the capabilities and competencies where I am already strong, and where are open issues and open spots or blind spots that I somehow need to fulfill to have the capability as a whole, so that the head of the Agile coach might fit a little better. So this would be the glimpse to the first session. So the second module focuses on the doing and learning, and as this is the learning principle here is that you are learning on your personal use case with regard to Agile, and we had it in the check-in. Maybe it is part of you are part of an Agile transformation taking place into your organization, or maybe you are in that session because you think this role might be something for you as an add-on to the experiences you already had. Maybe you have already worked in Agile projects, are a Scrum Master, and want to enhance your experiences. So this is the module where we are going to dig a little deeper about what is the specific about your personal use case. Why are you interested in that topic? We will be talking then about creating trust and knowing the team. So it's all about collaboration and teamwork. Talking about tools and rituals. We especially focus on recurring ceremonies that help foster an agile culture, and we'll work on some real life examples for that. And we'll have an overview about how, let's put it like that, agility is being implemented in different organizations. And I can give you some examples on that during the sessions. And usually from the participant side, many recognize at least some of the principles already being implemented in their organizations. So it is very much about discussing and exchanging the experiences as well. As well here, I brought some glimpse on what might be tools, and I see Julia smiling because you might recognize the one or other tool that you see here. On the one hand, it's about the ceremony, so the recurring recurring levers and meetings that you are able to install to be able to have an adaptive learning cycle within your organization. Then an overview about how agility can be implemented if you are responsible within your organization. What could be examples? How can you make that work? And then on a micro view, you'll have the possibility to work on or work out some of the ceremonies and exchange it with the participants, and then we'll have a double check. Does that fit to the mindset? Does that really help towards what you think is the agile shift within your organization or your role? So we always do the double check whether you did a more agile job than before. And then we get the broader view. The first module is about yourself and the role and the capabilities. The second module was about looking at the team and what helps the team. And now we are broadening in module 3. We would be broadening the view on the topic of agile transformation. We would dig into the difference between change and transformation, and that would be a nice discussion to have, Christine. Where is the difference? Is it the same in just another word, or is there a difference? So this would be just a start of a discussion. We would talk about conflict and resistance, because that is as well a coaching topic, but as well with going in alignment with any agile transformation that I've worked in so far. And then we would dig a little deeper into your personal use case and then your own topics. To also have the real life experience during this module. And as you can see, we are working with canvases to show you how transformation design could be handled. You will get an overview about some hacks that you can use within the organization or your personal surrounding to have the recurring learning effect on an agile culture. And then we'll have as well a session of peer coaching, and you get to know that to learn from each other and dig a little deeper into each other's use cases. Oh. And then on the last, I thought a lot if I should really take that picture, but I think it should be seen as a positive picture in the with the attitude or the mindset. Okay, now I'm ready, and now let's go. So really, the hope would be that in the 4th module you're ready to take off, and then you're strong. You stand on your 2 feet, and then you really say, okay, now let's go. Let's go for the role. Let's go for any idea I developed during the last sessions. Then again, we go back to the role of the Agile Coach. You go to your personal learning map, and you work out your professional authenticity and see how the role might fit you and what aspects you want to implement in your daily life. So that would be the last module as well. Just a glimpse on the tools. You'll have your personal learning map. You'll have your some roadmaps and some ideas on how you can implement it for your personal learning journey. And well, the picture in the middle goes for the topic of resilience that we will also try to talk about, to make sure that you will be able to focus on the right things and really get them down to earth, without powering yourself out of anything you're doing. So this kind of balance also is a very important part of the role, and to make it possible for you to make an impact. And this is why this balance is part of this presentation. So this was a very quick overview, and I'd like to stop with the presentation at that moment and be open either for questions, or maybe especially from Julia's and Begonia's side, because you have Julia has experienced the training sessions already, and maybe Begonia as well can add or ask something. And I see Christine unfortunately has to leave, but we might continue that discussion during another session. So you have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So any question or anything to add from your side, Begonia, Julia, or anything where you from other discussions know this might be an interesting question from future participants?
I think like what I also liked what you said about the different types of participants, actually, that some are in a working environment where they work for multinational companies, some are working with rather smaller companies or startups even, and some are self-employed, because this gives usually a very good mix in terms of knowledge sharing and collaborating among others. So this was also very valuable, actually, I found.
Yeah. And I think, as I said, this is the beauty of the program, because many, I know that from within some organizations as well, that there are many training programs within organizations already. But the specific about the Entre Nous is that you come from different organizations and get different insights and different approaches, which also is might be an add-on to the internal trainings that you might already have experienced. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the answer to the difference between change and transformation.
Yeah, to a point to the session, that was a really interesting, well, it was a discussion as well, but from my point of view, well, the distinction that we make, I can already tell you my opinion, or the way we are using those words when we are talking about transformation or change. I like the distinction between those two words, because for me, change is a project work. So you really know this is I'm moving from status A to status B, and I have a certain approach on how I can manage the change. This is where the term of change management comes from. And as you know where you want to be going, there is something manageable about that change. If we look at long-term changes in organizations, there is no status B and you are there, but it's a long-term learning process, which is iterative and has to be handled in a different way. And whereas many change projects could be managed in a phased approach, maybe even in a waterfall project approach. A transformation is about learning and unlearning and failing and learning from failures and developing on the run and never being there, because the transformation is always ongoing. And that for me is the important distinction between the two words. Both is happening in organizations, but you have to be, I think you have to be very clear. Are we talking about a specific change in a specific environment where we already know where we want to go? Or are we talking about how we can do a better way of transforming our organization to be prepared, or to prepare ourselves, or to anticipate even the future of our organization, which is a different question. And just to close that, the agile approaches are very well giving an answer on how to handle transformation, because it also is an iterative approach, or are iterative approaches to handle these questions of learning.
Brilliant.
So, but I hope you might be still interested for the longer answer or for the discussion.
Oh, sure. I think this is a great discussion. We can deep dive in the program, and for everyone being involved in organizations nowadays, there is about both, right? Change and about transformation. And this is a never-ending journey, we can say. Even now, with the opportunity to build up their abilities as an Agile coach, which is everything about our net4tec program, the Entrepreneur.
Yeah. And then maybe just to round that up and to have the overview on the program. I just took that from the website, just to give a structural overview about what is happening in the program. And let me just see where my with a laser pointer I'm looking for. There it is. So it's an 8-week program. We'll have it's a digital program. Meaning we are really virtually meeting during those modules, which has the big advantage that the participants can be part of the program no matter where they are. And the last time we had participants, I think, from 3 countries, which also was a nice add-on in impact on the discussions as well. We are starting with an onboarding. There will be a welcome package, and we'll have an onboarding sessions to getting to know each other, and at least set the goals and the learning as objectives for each of the participants, and give it the overview about what will happen in the weeks to come. Then we'll have the 3 modules, and these are the 3 modules I already explained earlier in this call. These modules will be every 2nd week. So on a bi-weekly basis, we'll have those module sessions all together. And we'll have, in the weeks in between, we'll have short so-called stand-up sessions, just to be sure you are on track and to see, okay, this is where I am, this is where I need support, and this is what I will do until the next session we are meeting. So it's very short and crisp, but it keeps the tension up, and makes and it's fun as well to hear what everybody was doing in the meantime. And there will be a self-organized peer group. It's a one-on-one with another participant, to be in a very self-paced and very trustful environment to peer coach each other on on your goals that you might want to reach during the time. So these are the 3 modules, and then we'll have a shorter checkout session with a joint retrospective on the learning journey and an outcome about what each of the participants will want to do in the future with the knowledge acquired during the sessions. And all of that will be enhanced by a one-on-one coaching with the facilitator facilitators, I'm saying, because originally the session, we are 2 facilitators today. I'm alone, but actually we are 2 people. So it will be either Nana Rüster. I'll show you a picture later on, so that at least you'll have an idea about who she is. You see her on the link that Julia already posted in the chat. So there will be a one-on-one session with the coaches, and expert feedback, and anything you might want to ask to maybe have a different learning approach, and maybe additional ideas for your personal growth. And that was so much for the exploring agile coaching. And I'm just wondering, because I know I put a picture. There we are. That's the picture I promised. So that's the 2 of us, just as a reminder, and maybe we can just round up with an open discussions for your key takeaways, and whatever might be interesting as well for the participants that are seeing the recorded session. So what else, what other information might be interesting? I hand over to you, Vigo and Julia.
Yeah, before I think I want to share my key takeaway. I was actually also more interested in hearing some of your ideas around the rituals or different types of doing kind of the retro meetings. Because when you explained the difference between transformation and change, or your opinions about it, right? I was thinking also about how we can change also a mindset within an organization, right? And what we have done in the business where I'm involved in, we have started, like I think 6 months ago, a series with the so-called Hack-Up Nights. So this is like a term. We called it corporately. We changed the name to Screw-Up Nights.
Yeah,
but it's it's a concept invented by some Mexican people in the startup scene, where it's a bit similar to poetry slams, where startup founders come on stage, they talk about their screw up they had, and very quick and crisp, like 10 minutes about the failure, and then the learning, how they ended up from it, and then there was a quick 5-minute Q&A, and then was the next person on stage. And we did that now virtually with the wider team to also facilitate learnings among each other, and facilitate just also the trust that it's okay to make mistakes, right? And that everyone makes mistakes along the way all the time. Yeah, so I think that has helped a lot already, but I was curious to hear if you have also some other ideas or the thoughts on kind of how can you facilitate this type of transformational change, or with these type of rituals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on a team and personal basis, this goes along very much with the concept of psychological safety, because the learning from failure is a known concept, but you're usually within an organization, it takes a lot to just step up and say, okay, you know what I screwed up during the last week. You just don't, even as a coach or agile coach, you cannot say, okay, now everybody, let's stand up and just talk about our failures. This has to be prepared. So also this would be a capability or a competency to build up with that coaching role, that you create an environment, and a safe environment where this is possible, because the failures and the screw up topics, this is being done because this is where you learn. And learn or unlearn, because you have to dig on the things that you tried out but they didn't work, so you try again something else. You don't want to do the same thing again. But you have to create an environment of trust, and you have to have a ritual that works on a regular basis to detect these failures, because the principle behind is fail early, to be able to grow more rapidly and to learn faster. And yeah, with regard to the Agile Coach, it would be for the teams that you're responsible, or well, for the teams you're supporting. You would work on creating just this environment. You would be very cautious about watching their way of how they collaborate, and what might be levers on how to enhance these ways of collaboration, how to make it possible that there is more trust to talk about these things, and then you might have the mindset shift.
Interesting. I had a session today as well with Amy Edmondson about fearless organizations, and then she talked about the psychological safety as well. And I thought, oh, that sounds like a very interesting book.
Yeah, you definitely have to have it here. You definitely have to. That's the concept that's behind. That's one of the first well-known books about that. Yeah, the fearless organization, right?
Interesting.
I don't know if there are the other questions, even Richard.
No, I'd like just give that a second. All good. Just listening. Okay, that's just fine. So I think then, if there is no further question, the offer from my side would be for any one of you who are watching the call and afterwards, don't hesitate to just call me directly in case you have any question. You can contact me via LinkedIn, or just via email. The link was in the invitation, I think, as well. So don't hesitate to ask any question you might have around that topic.
Yeah, exactly, around the topic, but also around the training of Agile Coaching that we have on. It's starting on the 13th of October, actually. And if you also want to know more about it, it's on the website net4tec.com/agile-coaching. Yeah, and I'm sure you will hear some more information over this training in our newsletters, also on our LinkedIn page, and feel free to reach out to any of us, either directly to Begonia, myself, or Andrea as the expert. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hear from you, also some feedback about the training or about the concepts. What's working for you guys? Have you already tried out Agile Coaching or any of the concepts? Are you looking to start the topic of Agile mindset in your organization? Yeah, I'm curious to hear. And yeah, now I'm seeing the message from Richard. Do you want to say something to it, Andrea, about it?
Yeah, I just answered. The question was, Agile is not a software. No, historically Agile working, and especially Scrum as a framework for working in projects, comes from IT projects. But it's not a software, it's a framework of best practices on collaborating and dealing with complex questions, and dealing with the ways of collaboration based on principles rather than methods. And that's the difference. So it's a way of working and based on a specific mindset and principles and values. Okay, yeah, you are welcome.
Great. Begonia, do you have anything to add before we close?
I think we are looking forward to experience the next round of Nantrenu together with you and Nana. The topic is really relevant nowadays, and there is something that there is even a new leadership opportunity on the career path for a lot of our net4tec members and community friends. So we encourage to take a look at that and to take contact with us in case there are any questions or points to clarify. What we have is a special offer as well for our pioneers. They get 20% off on the price. And yeah, otherwise, I would say we are really looking forward to reinitiate the next round of our Entrepreneur together with you. And yeah, let's go for it and enjoy this summer break. Maybe to just go into the reflection how to boost the career with this new role and how to upskill yourself with this new knowledge, which is going to be in a very reduced group of participants and in a program over 8 weeks and 5 learning levels. What we have done, a lot of experiences the last 2 years, and there is a valid concept. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun and it's going to be really a good asset for everyone joining in. So thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you. And thank you also participants and people who are watching this recording. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.